La. It just say end broadcast. All right, come on, let's go, B. Let's go. All right, Cap. We good to go. I just got to get my stuff set up. We good. All right, Cap. There we go. All right, bro. You ready? There we go. All right, bro. You ready? Okay. Let me get my bag. Come.
Got a whole bunch of cookies and treats down here.
Man, all right. I didn't get a chance to set myself up. Hey, listen, I'm doing class. I gotta call you back.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Give me just a second. Get my joint set up. That's the wrong book. Wrong book. There we go. Right book. Okay. Right there. Right here. You looking at? You can see me in the dark. The dark one.
Yeah, I see on the book. Too.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's clap it up. Only a couple of minutes behind. All right. Feels good to be back. You feel me?
Right.
Shalom, Israel. It's his brotherhood class, and we all know we just passed whose birthday? Supposed so-called birthday, Martin Luther King. Everybody had a good time worshiping Martin Luther King, but a lot of our brothers and sisters don't understand the what we're gonna say the whole scheme behind Martin Luther King. We call it a scheme because he schemed black people. You understand? He schemed the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. He destroyed us as a people. You understand? For his own lust.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We got destroyed. We got destroyed by Martin Luther King and everything that he fought for his own lust and gain. You understand? Martin Luther King is worshipped by our oppressor. Why is Martin Luther King worshipped by our oppressor? You know why?
Because it's like.
Go ahead.
Because he, the participated in the degradation of black people by being a mouthpiece for the oppressor, sir. So,
Exactly. And the propaganda that came out of Martin Luther King's mouth is still clouding our judgment and our brains to this day.
right.
You understand? We're destroyed because of integration.
Yeah.
We are destroyed because of race mixing.
Right.
You understand? The Most High told us not to mix with the heathen nations. But Martin Luther King's message was to mix with them. Martin Luther King's message was to go and hold hands and become one people. You understand? Think about it, right? The Most High created all nations, and he put all nations in their own land, and he created borders. He created borders so that we would not come into them and they would not come into us. The scriptures clearly tell us that, right?
Right.
You understand? So following Martin Luther King destroyed us. And the thing is everybody likes to say, well, at the end of his life, you know, he started talking about how we need to come together. Listen, the Bible has been talking about that for thousands of years. That's nothing new. There's no new thing under the sun. You understand what I'm saying? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into some scriptures and we're gonna talk about this and we're gonna work it out and see if Martin Luther King was a savior or a destroyer.
Right.
See, listen, in the Isupk, we already know, but we're going to let these people know who don't know. And with that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true Jews of the Bible, and the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
Let's check this out, right? They built statues and everything to Martin Luther King. They just built another statue to him, right?
Right.
You understand? Think about this. When our oppressor builds a statue to anybody, to any person, it's because that person helped to further the cause of the oppressor.
Right.
The oppressor does not build statues or worship people that didn't further their cause. This is the reason why all of these statues of Martin Luther King. This is the reason why Martin Luther King has a national holiday on his birthday. You understand? This is why every time Black History Month comes around, whose face is the face of Black History Month? Martin Luther King. Right. Every time you say Black History Month or anything dealing with Black history, the first thing you think of, Martin Luther King. Right. You understand? Because it's instilled in our mind that he did a great thing. Yeah. But he did do a great thing, but just for the heathen nations. Right. You understand? Think about the whole civil rights movement. The whole civil rights movement, all that fighting for civil rights and everything. And every nation that comes into America benefits from civil rights, except for the people whose civil rights were actually started for. Right. You understand? This nation was built on our backs. You understand? Think about the March on Washington. The March on Washington wasn't even started by Martin Luther King. Right. Had nothing to do with Martin Luther King. A lot of people don't understand or know that. You understand? But JFK found out about the March on Washington, which was actually supposed to be the March on the White House. They were supposed to have been almost something like a riot on the White House. JFK found out about it, and he called Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said he ain't have nothing to do with it. He wasn't even a part of it. Well, what JFK did was he put Martin Luther King and several other brothers like James Farmer. Wasn't that John Lewis that died last year? John Lewis.
John Lewis definitely part of it.
It was Martin Luther King, James Farmer, John Lewis, A. Philip Randolph, Roy Wilkins, and Whitney Young.
Right. He's an homosexual.
Right. Exactly. And we also always talk about that. And what is Martin Luther King famously known for?
His "I Have a Dream" speech.
Yeah, see, look at that. Everybody knows that. That "I Have a Dream" speech. And the crazy thing is think about it, right? He says, "I have a dream." What was his dream?
To integrate blacks and whites, so-called black people and white people.
So they could walk hand in hand and all of that type of stuff, like all that type of bull, right? And the crazy thing about it was that wasn't even a speech that he wrote. Somebody else wrote that speech for him. He didn't even write that speech. So think about it, right? That whole "I have a dream" wasn't even a thought in his mind. Martin Luther King had a lust. Martin Luther King had a lust for white women.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And in fulfilling his lust, somebody wrote a speech for him, fulfilling him, trying to help him fulfill his lust of little black boys holding hands with little white girls. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If you remember that speech, you understand this is a lust-filled speech. And the reason why we call it a lust-filled speech, because it is a speech that has destroyed our people. I remember when I was young, right? It was a girl in school who knew that speech from the front of the speech to the back of the speech, did the whole speech the same way Martin Luther King. And this is how destroyed we are. And she was praised for that because we fall for the smoke and the mirrors.
Right.
You understand? Instead of going to those scriptures and reading those scriptures and learning what the Most High has told us to do or what to do, we want to listen to lust-filled pastors, people who only have their own agendas at heart. They don't have a heart for their people. You understand? But here in the Isupk, since 1969, we have had a heart for the people. And that's why we come behind those lust-filled preachers and pastors, and we tell truth. We speak truth. We don't speak what's in our heart or how we feel. We speak of what the Bible says.
That's right.
You understand? And think about this, right? As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's grab a scripture first.
Go.
You understand? Let's grab Ezekiel. Chapter 13. And we're going to start let's start at verse 1. We're going to go down to 5, but we're going to start at verse 1.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 13 and 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, verse 2.
This is Ezekiel. This is the prophet Ezekiel getting the word from the Most High. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy.
Say that again.
Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy.
Let's say it says, son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy. Why would the Most High tell, the son of man to prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy?
Salaki, sir, if I could. The reason he's saying that is because the prophets of Israel that prophesy that he's mentioning are the people that just run their slide.
Yeah.
They just run their mouth for gain, sir, and popularity. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Brothers that are hustling the people. Just like Martin Luther King, just like Al Sharpton,
right? Just
like Jesse Jackson. You understand? When we stand out there and we speaking and we prophesying and we speaking about them, we prophesying against the prophets that prophesy. Right. We speaking against the prophets or they're not even prophets. They're not prophets sent by the Most High. But we speaking against the people who stand and speak against the Most High. Anybody that speaks to the people and tell the people to intermingle and intermarry with another race of people are prophesying or speaking against the Most High.
Right.
You understand? The Most High tells us not to intermingle, not to marry your sons into their daughters, and not to marry your daughters unto their sons.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
And this is a message of Martin Luther King. This is Martin Luther King's message. I like that crown.
Oh, hey.
That thing looked good. Hey, but I kept looking at it. But anyway, right? This is the message. This is the message of Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King's whole agenda was to fulfill his own lust. And in fulfilling his own lust, he was destroying the sons and the daughters of Israel.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? He destroying us as a nation. I mean, look at us. Now think about the Alabama bus boycott that started in 1955, ended in 1966, lasted exactly 381 days. right? It was a great move in the beginning. It was a great move in the beginning. And I don't know where he got the idea from. And of course, he got the idea from who? Rosa Parks on the bus. But even that was a hustle too. And it's sidebar, right? Sidebar. They didn't even use the person that it actually happened to. The sister that it actually happened to was a 16-year-old girl. You understand? So all that Rosa Parks stuff was a prop. Rosa Parks, if I'm not mistaken, Rosa Parks was actually, what do they call it? A legal.
Oh, she was a legal aid.
Something like that, in that effect.
Something like that. She had some type of role.
And it was a prop for her to get on the bus and sit in the seat and not move for somebody so they could actually bring up a lawsuit. But the thing is the young girl who actually, and then think about it, right? The young girl that it happened to was a 16-year-old girl coming from school or high school. And the story, which is an actual real story, tells of her teacher teaching them how strong that they should be and be positive and stand up for what's right. And she said when she got on that bus, she's like, she wasn't moving this time for a white person. Got arrested. Boom. It hit the community and everybody heard about it and everybody started calling for justice. Well, when they saw the little girl, it was a 16-year-old girl and she was dark skinned. So what did they do? They used an older woman who was
educated and light skinned.
Which, boom, Rosa Parks. You understand what I'm saying? So even in trying to get justice, we don't have faith in our own people, even to come out as we are. You understand? That's how destroyed we are. And in taking that, thinking about what they did back then, and remember, this is in the 1950s, right? Think about how women look today. Bleaching their skin. Long blonde hair hanging all the way down to their feet now. Eyelashes out their hair. Remember, listen, that eyelash thing out their hair, that's Egyptian. That's Egyptian culture. The eyelashes, the face makeup coming all the way over here, all of that. That's not even our custom and culture. But we've been so destroyed by integration and Martin Luther King as a people. We're trying to change who we are and don't even realize that's what we're doing. Integration has totally destroyed us as a people. You understand? Let's get back into that scripture. We have verse 2. Go ahead.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 13, verse 2. Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy.
Go ahead.
And say, thou unto them that prophesy out of their own hearts.
These people prophesy out of their own hearts. We just talked about that. You understand? Everything that Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson's, Al Sharpton, Jamal Bryant, what's his name? Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen, all of these people prophesy out of their own hearts. T.D. Jakes, Dr. David Jeremiah, all of these prophets, all of these preachers, I keep calling them prophets, Salakia. You understand? Because these are not the prophets of the Most High. You understand? And I threw two oppressors in there too, because a lot of them follow that oppressor. You understand? A lot of them follow those heathen oppressors because they want to be the heathen oppressor. They want to look like and they want to obtain what the heathen oppressor has obtained. You understand? Go ahead.
Slide. Hear ye the word of the Lord.
It says, hear ye the word of the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Thus saith the Lord, God, power. Woe unto the foolish prophets.
Woe unto the foolish prophets. Man, you got to be a fool to go against the Most High. Go ahead.
That follow their own spirit.
They follow their own spirit. They follow in their own hearts. They follow in their own lusts. Go ahead.
And have seen nothing.
And have seen nothing. Why does it say they have seen nothing?
Because reason it says they have seen nothing is because the things they're speaking of haven't even came to pass.
I have a dream. What dream you had?
Right.
You ain't had no dream.
Right.
You understand? Hey, do you ever been in the church? I've been in the church where they say, listen, if you don't run around this church 3 times a day, you're going to die in a week.
Dang.
You see people running around the church. They ain't seen nothing.
Right.
Most High ain't told them that. These are not prophets of the Most High. Anybody that got you standing up doing silly stuff in church. You understand? And these are the people that we follow. And this is another reason why women should not lead. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why the Most High made women a helpmeet. You understand? To help where they are needed.
Okay.
If I need help, listen, I need you to do this, this, and that. They need to be given instructions. They cannot give instructions. You understand?
Okay.
There is an order in the church. You understand? And we're going to get into that in a little bit later, but let's finish this right here. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 4. O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert.
Go ahead.
Verse 5. Ye have not gone up to the gaps, neither made up the hedge of the house of Israel.
We're going to start that over. Let's start back over at 4 again.
Sorry. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 4. O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert.
Them prophets are like the foxes in the desert. They slick and sly. You understand?
God.
Looking for their own gain. And listen, these prophets are like the foxes in the in the desert, Salakia. Like the foxes in the desert, they are slick and they are inept to destroy their own people. Only to get a gain, only to get ahead. You understand what I'm saying? Not realizing that they destroying themselves at the same time. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, like the characteristics of a fox, is a fox is a good-looking animal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Got a nice coat,
slick,
like a pretty dog. You feel me? But he's a goddamn scavenger.
And listen, check this out, right? Listen, I'm glad you said that. And this is the reason why. In most instances, sisters are deceived because they see the beauty. You understand? What's going on, big bro? What's up? It's good to see you. Yeah. And prophets they slick and they sly.
Right.
And they come in with all of that glitz and glamour because they know it bewilders women.
Right.
You understand? It blinds them. And once a woman is blind, a woman is inept to believe anything. You understand? And this is the reason why we have to be soldiers and we have to be warriors and we have to stand up and we have to lead.
Right.
You understand? And we have to get our women to understand that this is the way. Not that slick, sly think about it, right? All of the churches that's in our neighborhoods, look at our neighborhoods and look at the churches.
Right.
The churches prosper, but the people in the church don't prosper.
Right.
The preacher, the pastors, they prosper, but the people don't.
Oh.
They keep giving the people a hope and a dream. I have a dream.
Right.
That one day I'm going to get all your money. I have a dream. You understand? And his dream, think about it, right? We was actually just talking about we're going to get back to that, but we were just actually talking about that March on Washington, right? And just like I said, you had the big six. They got $2.5 million for that March on Washington. That's $250,000 a piece, something like that, right? Back in the 50s, right?
$1 million a piece.
That's a little bit more than that, right? Because I was talking to a sister a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling her that my mother actually bought a 19 '73 Pinto wagon in '73 for $3,700. New off the lot, no miles on it. I remember the day she brought it home. I'm coming home from school, 1974, right? A Pinto wagon. So now that's 1974. You go 64, and then you go almost 20 years later, 54, 55. Think about that. You understand what I'm saying? So think about $250,000 in those days. That's a little more. That's a lot more than $1 million. You understand what I'm saying? We get destroyed by the lust of our leaders' hearts. You understand? And the only place we're not going to get destroyed by the lust of our leaders' hearts is here in the Isupk.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? But we get destroyed by that. And like I say, the thing that destroys women is the glitz and the glamour. That's where they get thrown off at. Men, we are, I'm not going to say all men, but for the most part, most of us don't get caught up in that. You understand? Most of us are, you got to show us to make us believe. With a woman, all you have to do is tell her. She only has to see a diamond ring, or all she got to do is see some slick gator shoes. You know what I'm saying? Or Rolls Royce. That's it, and she's done.
Right.
You understand? Men, we like, how he get that? Yeah, I bet he's, you know what I mean? That's how we are. Because women are emotional. Men think rationally for the most part. You understand? For the most part, we think rationally. You understand? We like, ho. It's got to be something with this. You understand?
Yeah.
That's just how we are by nature. This is the reason why the Most High placed us over the woman. You understand? Christ is over us. The Most High is over Christ. We under Christ, and the woman is under us. You understand? That's just the natural order. You understand? But let's get back to the scripture.
All right, this book of Ezekiel, chapter 13 and 5. Ye have not gone up into the gaps.
Say that again.
Ye have not gone up into the gaps.
It says, ye have not gone up into the gaps. Go ahead.
Neither made up the hedge of slime. Neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel.
Go ahead.
To stand in the battle in the day of the Lord.
It says, ye have not gone up in the gaps, and neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel. Think about it, right? In war, when you see them in war and the walls begin to fall, you have men that come up into the gaps of those walls and fight in the gaps of those walls, and other men come in and try to build that wall back up. I watched Vikings the other day. It's a series, right, on Netflix, and they were trying to get into the Vikings were trying to get into Constantinople. That they did that part of the history on Constantinople, and the Vikings were trying to get into Constantinople, and boom, breaking down the walls. And as they breaking down the walls, men were filling those holes. Bam, arrows, battering rams, all of that. You know, keeping the Vikings out. But then other men were coming in and building the wall back up. So the next day they're like, yeah, we did it. You know what I mean? Fill in the gaps. See, and this is the problem with our preachers and our pastors. When we begin to be destroyed, they don't fill in the gaps.
Right.
They don't tell us what we should do. You understand? They don't tell us the right thing to do. They tell us the wrong thing to do. We got to march. What has marching gotten us? Marching has gotten us destroyed. You understand? Marching has never worked for us. You understand? And we still have the same old pastors and preachers that we listening to talking about let's march. You understand? Let's go petition. How can you petition a beast? How can you petition the very people that's out there killing you and destroying you? How can you petition? What do you petition? What do you ask? You understand? What did General Muhammad say one day? He said, how can a deer or something like that go petition a lion not to eat them? Think about it.
Right.
You understand? How can a sheep petition a wolf not to destroy them? And this is what our preachers and pastors have us doing every day. You understand? Our preachers and pastors do not go up into the gaps. They do not fill the hedges. You understand? Right. They do not step in and stand up and fight. You understand? This is not what they do. You understand? Because they are fulfilling the lust of their own hearts.
Right.
We read that already. You understand? I mean, this is the reason why we are destroyed people. And we're going to stay destroyed until we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And just like I was saying, listen, you got James Farmer, Martin Luther King, James Farmer, John Lewis, A. Philip Randolph, Roy Wilkins, and Whitney Young. This is the big six. You understand? The big six. Well, guess what? They had the big white over top of them.
Right.
You understand? They had four men that really headed up that march on Washington, that headed up that whole thing, that whole scheme. And at the top of that was a European rabbi, a Malachite. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is how, and listen, these people have had a foothold on us since the beginning. You understand? Remember, what was that in? Was that Second Samuel? Second Samuel, when Saul was supposed to destroy the Amalekites, but he let the Amalekite king live.
Yeah.
You understand? Think about it, right? If Saul kills that Amalekite king, we have no more so-called Amalekites.
Right.
We have no more so-called small hats. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You understand? And this is the reason why I think about it, right? They run everything. They have a hand in everything. You understand? I remember, and this is an article I read some years ago before I came into the UPK. What they were saying was the Germans so-called had it out for them because the Germans found out that they were being robbed by them.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's a little history that was it was easy to be found some years ago, but a lot of that stuff is now it's hard to find. You can't even, it's hard to Google a lot of that now. Go ahead.
That statement you just made about how the Germans felt they were being pretty much swindled.
Yeah.
On small hats.
Yeah.
That's in what's the nigga name? It's like Hitler's Man Huff book.
Right.
How he felt like, how he saw how they were swindling him and over Hitler interest and all that.
Listen. I read the articles. This was like before I came in the UPK about that, right? And it's a lot of things that if you like the doctrine of exclusion, I talk about that a lot, right? The doctrine of exclusion. It talks about how, no slave or descendant of a slave shall enjoy the fruits of white society, right? Uh-huh. You used to could easily Google the doctrine of exclusion. Now it's getting hard to it used to just pop up, a bunch of things to pop up about it. Now it's hard to find a lot of this stuff. And soon, and we are actually watching our oppressor. We actually watching our oppressor with no kickback, from our so-called leaders. We're watching our oppressor erase the transatlantic slave trade off of the history books. You understand? Yeah. They're starting to call it the transatlantic migration now. Now, when people migrate, people come to leave a place and come to a place because they're not satisfied with the place they were at in the beginning. So they move or migrate to another place. So now they're trying to smooth over and make everybody forget about the transatlantic slave trade. You understand what I'm saying? And this is another reason why they don't want to talk about critical race theory either, because it pulls the skirt up of our oppressor. We get to see all the nasty and the evil, and then people begin to understand their nastiness and evil. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of pointing the finger at somebody else, now the finger's being pointed at you. You understand? And this is what's happening right now. But like I said, our leaders do not stand in the gaps for us when it's time to stand up, when it's time to lead us. We are the only people on the face of this earth. And when I say that, I'm speaking of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives don't have a people to stand up and fight for us properly besides this UPK. You understand? So let's do this, right? Here we go. Martin Luther King, James Farmer. Let's see, the civil rights. Civil rights. What is civil rights? What is that? Because Martin Luther King was supposedly supposed to fight for civil rights too, right?
Right.
What is civil rights?
You want the Webster Dictionary?
Yeah, let's get that. The Webster Dictionary. The definition of civil rights. You understand? Because this was another thing that Martin Luther King was supposedly fought for. And you know what really puzzles me about our people is with civil rights. We all look at everybody, all these other nations getting civil rights, and we say Martin Luther King fought for civil rights for us. But did we get it? You understand what I'm saying? Did we get it, or did Martin Luther King sell us out and sell us a dream? You understand? Because we see other nations profiting and benefiting off civil rights.
Right.
We see this. We just recently saw this with the Asians.
Right.
They got a law in 2 weeks. They got a law put on the books, an Asian hate law through civil rights.
Asian hate bill.
An Asian hate bill. You understand?
Right.
You can't even kick an Asian in the butt if they kick you.
Right.
Because it'll be called Asian hate. It'll be called a hate crime. And think about this, right? All of these nations get Asian hate laws and all of these bills and things, and we get murdered. We have been being murdered for the last over 450 years. We've been murdered in these streets of America, and we have yet to see a bill. How can our people be so blind to not see that we catching the shaft?
Right.
You understand? You got that definition? Let's read that.
All right, so we got civil rights as a noun. It's like civil rights.
What's that? A noun is what? A person, place, a thing, right?
Sir.
Okay, go ahead.
So civil rights is a noun. It says the rights of citizens to political and social freedom and equality. I got one more, sir.
Go ahead.
Civil and political rights are a class of rights that protect individuals' freedom from infringement by governments, social organizations, and private individuals.
Okay.
They ensure one's entitlement to participate in the civil and political life of society and the state without discrimination or repression.
Think about this, right? That first one you said was the most important one. Read it again.
The rights to citizens to political and social freedom and equality.
That's it right there. That's a wrap. Now, why was that more important?
Because it clarifies who's entitled to civil rights.
Exactly.
And people entitled to civil rights are citizens, not slaves.
So now let me ask you a question, because you just now hit it on the money. I don't know why I'm asking it, but I'm gonna ask it again anyway.
For edification.
You understand what I'm saying? For educational purposes.
Right.
You understand? You said it right there, right? And this is one thing that we in the Isupk, we try to explain to people. We are not citizens.
Right.
People keep wondering why we're not getting civil rights. Only citizens get civil rights.
Right.
We are not a citizen. We are a what again?
A slave.
A slave. A slave. Slaves don't get rights. Slaves don't have rights.
Right.
Think about it, right? Every nation over here has an industry over here, including the Russians. You understand? Everybody owns something to build their nation over here but us. You understand? That is a slave. Every nation that comes over here feeds off of us.
Right.
That is a slave. Matter of fact, you know what? I want to get what's that scripture? Judith. Chapter 5. I want to make sure it's the right one though before I before I tell you to go into it, right? Judah chapter 5, if I'm not mistaken, is that 17? Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay. No, no. It's another one. It's one better than this. But let's take that one anyway, right? Judith, that's in the Apocrypha.
What was the numbers?
Chapter 5,
17.
verse 17.
This is the book of Judah, chapter 5, verse 17. And whilst thy sinned not before their power.
Say that again.
Whilst they sinned not before their power.
Go ahead, read that again.
And it's like Judah 5 and 17. And whilst.
And whilst. No, you said it right the first time.
It's like Judah 5 and 17. And whilst they sinned not before their power.
Hey, we're gonna say God just in case right. people that's not in the school. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And whilst they sinned not before their God.
It says, and while they sin not before their God, speaking, while we sin not before our God, go ahead.
They prosper.
Say that again.
They prosper.
Hey, listen, when we don't sin against the Most High, we prosper. But these preachers and these pastors have us sinning, and we can't understand why we're constantly being destroyed by all the other nations. You understand? And we don't understand. Listen, it's amazing how we can have that book in our hands. You understand what I'm saying? And we can read that book and not pick up that our preachers and our pastors are not giving us what we need to survive. You understand? While we're constantly being destroyed. And it's amazing that no matter who gets murdered, no matter who gets shot down, no matter who gets destroyed on the street, we always go and march.
Right.
And nothing ever happens. I mean, when do our people ever, you understand, get tired of marching? Right. When do we get tired of marching? When do we get tired of being kicked in the bottoms? You understand? When do we get tired of being marched over? You understand? We are a destroyed people. Only a destroyed people can continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. Your grandmama and grandpapa, they can tell you, look, all we got to do is vote. If we vote, that's the only way we can make a change. You ever heard people say that?
Yeah.
The way we make a change is we got to get out and vote. We've been voting since when?
Since he allowed us.
Yeah. You understand? So, and think about it, right? We already know that. Think about it. And it's been out for a while that, that popular vote does not count. It's the electoral college. You don't got none of us got electoral college vote.
Right.
You understand? We don't get to decide who's president. And think about this, right? You don't really get to vote and decide who becomes your president. In the simple thinking that you're not even choosing. They're choosing who you can choose from.
Right.
You understand? And if you really think about it, you want to go heavy on it, right? Think about this. You ever see people running for president or running for office? You ever seen that, right? We've seen that, right? Everybody's seen that, right?
Right.
Let me ask a question. What is a war chest for?
A war chest?
Yeah, a war chest.
That's your bankroll.
Right. But why do you need a bankroll or a war chest to run for office?
Because you gotta grease palms.
You gotta grease palms, and they gotta see how much can you raise. Who's backing you? Are the right people backing you? You understand? How much money can you grease up? Because if you want something done, just like you said, you're going to have to give up some money. You understand? What's that? Oh, go ahead. So it says, while they sin not before their God, they prospered, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. Listen, because the Most High hates iniquity, and because we sin not against the Most High, This is the reason why we prospered. You understand? And all we have to do is think about that. Just simply think about that. If we stay within our boundaries, if we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, if we do what the Most High tells us to do, then we'll prosper. A lot of us don't understand why we're not prospering. We're not prospering because we're not doing what the Father told us to do.
Right.
Let's drop on to 18, verse 18.
Come on. It's the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 18. But when they depart from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore.
Read that again.
Judith, chapter 5, verse 18. But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles. It's like in many battles, very sore, and were led captive into a land that was not theirs.
We were destroyed in many battles. When we fall away from the Most High, we get destroyed. We don't just get destroyed, but we get ground into powder. You understand? And we were led captives into a land that was not ours. You understand? And this is, think about it. Look where we are right now. We've been destroyed so much so that a lot of us think we're Americans. A lot of us think we're African Americans. A lot of us think we're Muslims. A lot of us think we're Buddhists. You understand what I'm saying? We all the same. Think about this, right? If you look at our so-called oppressor as a nation, we look at them, for the most part, they're Christians.
Right.
If you look at the Asians as a nation, for the most part, they're Buddhists.
Right.
You understand? If you look at the Arabs as a nation, for the most part, they're Muslims. We're the only one that are Buddhists. We're Muslims, Egyptologists, Christians. What's that other one? What's that one with
Hindu?
Dr. York?
Pan-Africanism.
Whatever that, all that bull.
Blackity.
Pan-Africanism, the Nuwapian.
That's what it is, Nuwapian.
You understand? We everything. And you know what? Listen, before I came into the UPK, I knew nothing about Nuwapians. It wasn't until I came in here that I started hearing about Nuwapian. I'm like, what is a Nuwapian? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, I hear people on the street. I didn't even know it was that many people that was Nuwapians. You understand what I'm saying? But they undercover with that bull crap anyway. You understand? Because they're not proud of it, and it's not something that's in their heart.
Right.
You understand? And a lot of times we don't find out about somebody being something until they about halfway dead or they get locked up.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And it says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captive to the land that was not theirs. You understand?
Right.
And look at us today. We led captive into lands that are not ours. We led captive into Buddhism. We led captive into Muslims.
Right.
We're led captive into Egyptology, into Christianity. All of these things destroy us, very sore. You understand what I'm saying? To the point so much so that our own leaders sell us to our oppressor, sell us to the other nations. You understand? Martin Luther King totally destroyed us with integration. You understand? And Martin Luther King is not the progenitor of integration, but Martin Luther King is the face of integration because he did the most in integration. You understand? And think about it. Martin Luther King has been gone for years, and his legacy and his destruction lives on in us. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
This is what makes Martin Luther King the face of integration. You understand? And this is why when we speak of integration, we speak of Martin Luther King the most because of this. You understand? You got people who wasn't even born or never even saw Martin Luther King that can speak Martin Luther King and speak praises. You understand? because they got the praises from their parents handed down to them, from their parents handed down to them, from their parents. You understand? We are destroyed very sore. You understand?
It's like, sir.
Go ahead.
Quick question. When you mentioned the doctrine of exclusion, is that an actual book?
No, that's an actual law.
It's a law.
It's the Maryland State Doctrine of Exclusion of 1638. Doctrine of Exclusion.
Yeah.
It's a law created by the colonies. It was the first colony that created the doctrine of exclusion was Maryland.
Dang.
Then Virginia took it. Then all of the other colonies took it and built off of the doctrine of exclusion. The whole doctrine of exclusion, and see, this is the thing, right? When you look at the doctrine of exclusion, which basically says Black people will not prosper, Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives will not prosper as long as we are in power. That's basically what it says. And if you look at us today, I mean, think about it. Look at us today.
Right.
Look at us. Think about this, right? We're happy with a car. We're happy with new sneakers.
Right.
We're happy with a $100,000 watch. We're happy with a $500,000 home. You understand?
Right.
That after we die, we lose it all. Does not go to, think about it, right? Michael Jackson, the greatest pop singer of all time, right? How does he die broke? How does somebody end up with his whole catalog? How does his family not end up with that? You understand what I'm saying? Right. Whitney Houston, they said she died broke. How does somebody end up with her catalog? Right. How does somebody end up with her legacy? Prince, think about it, right? How does somebody end up with all he had? That's not his family. Because of that doctrine of exclusion. That doctrine of exclusion goes for everything. Think about it. How does football players 7 to 8 years after they finish their career, how do they end up broke? Right. Think about this, right? What's his name? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had to play 3 extra years out of his career to pay off his taxes. He had a retirement. What do they call it when they play their last game in every stadium? He did that, right? And at every stadium they gave him something because everybody knew he was broke. Now,
that was a GoFundMe.
Right, that was a GoFundMe of the 80s. Right? Think about this, right? Who was the lawyers of all those people?
So, like, if I could, so-called small hats.
There you go. Right? So now, if they mess up your taxes, why do they not suffer?
Right. You said why they don't suffer?
No, I'm just saying that's a
right.
Good thing. You know what I mean? The reason why is because of that doctrine of exclusion. A lot of people don't understand that. That doctrine of exclusion is a heavy law. This is an agreement with the oppressor and other oppressors that these people, no matter what they do, no matter how far they look like they have gotten ahead, they will not prosper. They will not enjoy the fruits of white society. Think about the struggle that Steve Harvey, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal have to do of kissing up just to stay where they are. Understand that if they step out of line and say the wrong thing, they lose everything.
Right.
How can somebody control you that much?
Right.
To where you can't even speak up for your own people. Thanks to Martin Luther King.
Right.
You understand? So we can hold hands with the same people that's destroying us. But that doctrine of exclusion of 1638, that was a law written. See, the thing with our oppressor thinks years ahead,
God.
years ahead. And if you look at our oppressor does what? Our oppressor, he hands everything down to his sons. He knows if he hands it down to his sons, it's a good chance. If I come back, I'll come back.
And if I could, sir, and when you say hand down to their sons, they're not just handing down the trinkets
Right.
and the wealth. They handed them philosophies and the traditions that had them gain that power.
And that's the reason why you have little boys calling us niggas and everything else, because what's being handed down is philosophies and traditions.
Oh, God.
And we are the only people who don't hand down philosophies and traditions.
God.
We are the only people who don't support our own people in the ups and it's easy to support somebody when they up. It's easy to support a millionaire when he got it all, right?
God.
But when things go bad, you understand? Just like the thing with Kyrie Irving and what's his name?
Kanye West.
Kanye West, right? It's easy to support them and love them when they up. But think about how many people dropped them when they fell. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Think about it. That happens all the time. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why you can't get a LeBron James to step up and say something. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
This is the reason why we can't get certain people to stand up and speak up for us, because we are destroyed as a people. You understand?
Right.
We got to start. We got to listen. Like I said, you come into this Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, you learn how to stand up for your people.
That's right.
You understand? You learn how to sacrifice. We sacrifice being in here. You understand? We go out on them streets, we sacrifice.
Right.
You understand? Everybody can't do what we do. This is the reason why we see black people turning their nose up, when we out there. But we keep doing what the Most High has sent us out there to do, because it's not for everybody.
Right.
You understand? Everybody don't have that heart. You understand? Everybody don't have what we have been given by the Most High. We have been chosen.
Yeah.
You understand? And you hear all the Christians in church, I've been chosen. I've been chosen. You haven't been chosen. You understand? You've been chosen by the enemy.
Right.
To pass on that Christianity, to pass that, hand that Christianity. That's the only thing we got. You understand? That we hand down from generation to generation is Christianity.
Right.
Other than that, what we handed down? Welfare,
Pretty much, sir.
child support,
Christianity. So, man.
abortion, high blood pressure. You understand? Everything negative we hand down.
Right.
We don't hand down anything that can help our people to prosper. But guess what? This truth came back in the earth in 1969.
That's right.
And that's what we bringing out. You understand? So let's go to this. Let's grab Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10.
Oh, God, sir. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Read that again.
Never trust thine enemy.
It says, never trust thine enemy. Why should we not trust our enemy? Why should we not trust our enemy? Go ahead.
If I could, sir. Because he's your enemy for a reason. You understand? Like, you trusting him and thinking that he's going to change his ways. Somewhere deep down, not even deep that far deep down, he still has that aggression and that hatred towards you, because you are his enemy.
Exactly. You understand? Should never trust our enemy because of what? Because he is our enemy.
Right.
The Most High makes that plain. You understand? Never trust our enemy. Who is our enemy? The people who have a foothold over us, the people who run this planet. You understand? That is our enemy.
Right.
Not your brothers and your sisters. not the people in your own nation. We are not enemies. We are neighbors. We are brothers and sisters.
Right.
We have to trust in our own. Think about it, right? We trust in our enemy, but we don't trust in our own people.
Right.
That's backwards. Because the Asians don't trust us, but they trust in their own people. And look how they prosper.
Right.
The Arabs don't trust us, but they trust in their own people. And look how they prosper. Our oppressor doesn't trust us, but he trusts in his own. And look how he prospers.
Right.
You understand? We need to take heed. Because we don't take heed. It's incredible how we can see all the other nations prospering. And we try to prosper, but we do just the opposite of what all the other nations do.
Right.
Think about this, right? When have you ever seen the Asians come out in droves or the Arabs come out in droves to vote?
No.
You don't have to. Because Asians and Arabs and Africans and all of them know that voting does not matter. Does not matter. We're the only people that think voting is going to get us ahead. Man, we were so close. God damn. Well, all we got to do is wait another 4 years. 4 years, boy, we're going to get them. We're going to get 2024. You hear people saying it now. You understand? Ain't no way Trump can win in 2024. I hope he do. I hope he do. Just so people can fall on their butt and say, you know what? Maybe we should. Maybe that'll be the thing that'll turn people's heads and make people think like maybe we need to go in another direction.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We in 23 now, right?
Okay.
We only got another year to wait. I ain't gonna say we got time. Because we in the truth then.
Right.
You understand? So I don't know how much time they got, right? But I mean, think about it. We're the only people that do just the opposite of what all the other nations do. And we fall. We don't prosper. And we watch all the other nations prosper. We watch all the other nations prosper so much so that we think the Asians are saving up a whole lot of money over in that poor ass country where they at and bringing their money over here and buying businesses. We spitting in our own face.
Right.
To think that. You understand what I'm saying? We think they really saving up money. When they get stipend to come over here and take over the businesses in our neighborhoods.
Right.
We really think about it, an Asian who can't even speak English. Hold up. Let's go back. How do they pass a test to come over here and can't even speak a lick of English? You see them Asians in the back that be cooking the food, they can't even speak English.
Right.
How did they get over here?
A lot of them are illegal, sir.
Yeah, a lot of them are
They're
illegal.
Illegals.
Listen. The most illegal people that are over here are the East Indians.
Right.
And if you go to Walmart out Ellicott City, it's a truckload of them out there. I worked there part-time a few years back. It's they everywhere, and then live across the street from it in those beautiful townhomes. Gorgeous.
What are you talking about?
You know what I mean? How? Because they are given opportunities. Listen. You ever hear them speak of the American dream, right? And thanks to Martin Luther King, it's an American dream for us, but it's American reality for them.
Right.
You understand? And they right. It's an American dream. It's a dream. The only time you're going to experience it is when you're asleep.
Right.
And right now we are asleep as a people in America. We are asleep to think that we're going to experience something better than what we have right now. You understand?
Okay.
These people live the American reality. We live the American dream. And that's all it is. It's a dream. You understand? Once you wake up, we back in hell. You understand?
Okay.
That's why a lot of our brothers and sisters get high like they do. It's the reason why we do this stuff that we do. You understand? Because a lot of us don't see hope. But hope is right here in this truth. Get up in this truth. Stop following those wicked pastors. You understand? Matter of fact, let's drop that. No, let's finish that. Go ahead. Let's read it. Start from the beginning. We're gonna read that, and we're gonna finish that.
Oh, come on, sir. This book, Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy.
And we already know who the enemy is, right? The enemy is our oppressor and all these heathen nations that are over here over top of us. Anybody that is in your neighborhood that does not live in your neighborhood, that takes the money from your neighborhood and takes it back to their community and builds their community up, that is your enemy.
That's right.
That is our enemy. Go ahead.
For like as iron rusteth.
For like as iron rusteth. Go ahead.
So is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. When you shine up iron, no matter how much you shine it up, if it sits long enough, eventually the original properties of iron is going to show through. Iron begins to rust if it sits long enough. You have to keep iron polished and you have to keep it oiled up to keep it shiny. But once that oil is gone, the true properties of iron will show through, just like our oppressor's personality and his attitude. This is the reason why they kept telling us as kids, this is officer friendly. This is officer friendly. And then he became officer of destruction when we got older.
Right.
Because his true properties began to show through. You understand? The true ideas and visions in his heart begin to show through. When we speak of his heart, we're talking about his mind. You understand? The true properties of his heart and his mind begin to show through. You understand? We're going to drop that. And we're going to go to Ezekiel. Oh, no. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let's go to 13. I forgot about that. Yeah, let's go to that.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Set him not by thee, lest.
No. 13.
Oh, 13. That was 12. Sorry. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten by a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts?
Think about it, right? Who can pity the person who chooses to sit next to the serpent, to a serpent? Think about it, right? Martin Luther King put himself in harm's way,
right?
Wanting to walk hand in hand with the oppressor, wanting to sleep with the oppressor. Who can pity him?
Right.
We all know he's a beast, right? But if you want to sleep and you want, what they saying say, you if you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas, right?
Okay.
What can you say?
Right.
Who will pity a charmer? You want to play with a serpent when you get bit, hey.
It's on you.
Mother used to say, boy, you want to play around that stove, as soon as you get burnt, hey, it's on you. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. He says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you. You wanted to play with it. You understand? Or any such as come nigh to wild beasts. You understand? Anybody who wants to play with a beast, you get what you deserve.
Right.
That's what happens. You understand?
Okay.
We can drop that. Now we can go to I want to do that one, but I'm gonna hold that. One. That's a good one too. Hey, look, let's do Psalms 58. Psalms chapter 58. We're gonna start at 1.
Psalms 58 and 1, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. This book of Psalms chapter 58 and 1. To the chief musician, Elatus, then.
Go ahead.
Microphone of David. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men?
Listen, it says, do ye judge uprightly? No, they don't judge uprightly. Go ahead.
Right. Verse 2. Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth.
Go ahead.
Verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
Say that again.
The wicked are estranged from the womb.
Listen, these people that we deal with, they come out wicked and evil.
Right.
I remember a few years back, we seen a little girl who ate the cookies out of a cookie jar that her mama told her not to. She asked her who ate the cookies, and the little girl, which was an oppressor, said a black man did it.
Dang.
And she could have been nothing but 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
Listen, they come out like this, man.
Right.
They come out evil. They come out with the mindset. You understand? Listen, the Most High made them this way. Made them this way for a particular reason. You understand? Go ahead.
So like the wicked, Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
Go ahead.
They go astray as soon as they be born.
Read.
Speaking lies.
Say that again.
Speaking lies.
One more time.
Speaking lies.
This is just a part of them. They go astray. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Listen, we hear lies day in and day out. If y'all vote, you cast your vote, you can make a change. What did Biden say? If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, how evil and wicked could that be?
Right.
What did Trump say? He said, listen, what do you got to lose?
Right.
Right. Hey, listen, I like it because he said, listen, you niggas been voting for I don't know how long, but you might as well vote. What you got to lose? You know what I mean? If I don't do nothing for you, you ain't lost nothing.
Right. Right.
You understand? He said, listen, Trump didn't promise us anything.
Right.
I hope he win again. I ain't voting, but I hope he win again because I want these people to be pissed off to the point where they come back to the truth.
Right.
Because that's the only way it's going to happen. A lot of people think that there's no way he could win again. I hope he do. Just so you can say, you know what? Let's pack up and do something different.
Right.
Maybe if they see that, you know what I mean? Maybe they will come into this truth. Maybe they will say, you know, maybe we need to go in another direction. You understand? Because this is the only thing that nobody has tried. Everybody think they tried this, but our people don't realize you have tried Christianity.
Right.
You have not tried the truth. This is the truth. This is where we stand on all the law, statutes, and commandments. This is where truth is truth.
Right.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
That's right.
You understand? This is the only place where black people, blacks, Hispanics, and natives are going to come up out of the hole that we're in.
Yeah.
You understand? It says the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Listen, the lies that come from these people are incredible. Think about a police shooting up. I remember when the boy got shot. I think that was in Chicago when they were following him because he wasn't running, but he was just following them down the middle of the road, and the police start shooting him in the back. You know what the police said? They asked him, were you going forward or were you going backwards? I think I was backpedaling. Yeah, they show the video show him clearly running at the boy back. Bop, 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 bop. He ain't had nothing in his hand.
Right.
But you clearly shot him in the back. Think about what was the lie that the police told when they shot the boy 70 or 80 times when they were chasing him? And it was like 8 or 9 police officers just unloaded. Everybody unloaded. They clipped him. Reloaded too. You understand?
Yeah.
Did anybody pay for that? No. I mean, what's the lie? What lie can they tell for that?
Right.
You understand? But it's just not only the police, it's the judicial system, it's the public defenders, it's the lawyers. You understand? All of them are in cahoots. The judge. You understand? Have you ever been to court before? Been to court before, right? Have you ever been to court and you came in and then your lawyer comes to you and say, look, I was talking to the judge and the public defender and they said, listen, if we, listen, they cut a deal before you got there.
Right.
That has happened to me. They cut a deal and I'm like, oh, I'm saying to myself, like, oh shit, yeah, this might be a good deal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, when I got older, I was like, damn, they played me out. Like, before I got there, they already made arrangements. Think about the dudes. You know, you ever seen a dude be in on a murder charge and he paid like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 and all of a sudden he get off? It's because the lawyer, public defender, and the judge all go in the back and say, look, he gave me $40,000. I'm going to give you 10. I'm going to give you 10. I'm going to take 10, and then we're going to get the other 10 to the state. You cut a deal. It's not that you really got off. You paid. It wasn't nothing brought against you or no evidence brought against you. And think about it, they go through the whole preliminary. All right, we're gonna hurry up. Listen, he gave me 10 grand, so I ain't letting this shit go past 2 weeks. So they go through the whole preliminary. Not guilty. Pay what they say, pay court costs,
right,
and boom, shit like that.
Right.
You understand? Oh
right.
shit. That you got off, you just paid. Man with the most money get off.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
And the thing is if you destroying your own people, who cares? You give me money, I get you off. But once you destroy our people, or you kill or you murder our people, I'm sorry, you can't get off. You understand what I'm saying? Justice must be served. Right. You understand? Listen, they are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And he'll get up in the courtroom and say, I thought I was in my own apartment when I shot him.
Right.
You understand? They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. We want to trust in these people, but thanks to Martin Luther King, you understand? We get up and we hug them. We get up and we stroke their hair.
Right.
We get up and hug the very people that destroy and murder and kill us. We forgive them. You ask them, why do we forgive them? What do they say? Because that's what God will want me to do.
Right.
It doesn't say that in the Bible.
Right.
It's a time to love and a time to hate.
That's right.
We're the only people that forgive everybody. You see white people on TV, and I'm never going to forgive you. I'm never going to forgive you. And then you hear reporters say, I understand. When it comes to us, I ain't gonna. But doesn't your God say? You understand? They want us to forgive everybody.
Right.
We got to stop forgiving people.
That's right.
We got to stop listening to these lying pastors, preachers. You understand? We got to stop following Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar. We got to stop following these people who are leading us down the path of destruction.
Sure.
You understand? Yeah. We destroyed as a people. You understand? Let's go to that verse 4.
Book of Psalms, chapter 58 and 4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent.
Hey, listen, that word, those words that they speak is like the poison of a serpent.
That's right.
It deceives us. It has us in a stupor. You understand? Once they strike, we are destroyed. And then we're forgiving them. That's the poison of an adder. That's a destroyed people.
Right.
That poison of an adder destroys anything. That serpent, that adder hits you, that poison runs through your body and you are dead. And what's that, about a half hour? A half hour, you gone. You understand?
Yeah.
Listen, these people hit us with their words and then they shoot us and murder us in the street and we back there forgiving and loving and hugging. You understand? How can, as Botham John, how can your mama forgive the person that killed you? How can your brother hug the person that killed you?
Right.
Go ahead.
You know, that's so crazy because, like, when you watch any media outlet and it has murders of our people and the person that committed the crime, the criminal of being charged in the court, like a father or a cousin or a mother, somebody busts out in court and just stomp on the person in handcuffs.
Right.
You understand? But in this case, you know what I mean, Christianity had such a pull on this family that the brother came, the Jake came and hugged the damn devil, sir.
Right. You know, but that's how destroyed we are as a people. You understand? And sometimes it hurt me. You know what I mean?
Right.
To see stuff like that, because it's like looking at a family member give up.
Mm.
You understand?
Right.
You ever played football before, right? I played football in high school, right?
Yeah.
And I remember we could be getting beat down, and I could see dudes. Shalom, Lord Christ, big bro. Okay. You got to work tonight, right? You got to work tonight? All right, man, you need to get some rest. Yeah. Where was we at? Hey, where was we at?
So we are on verse 4, Psalms 58 and 4, sir.
Oh, we're going to drop that. We're going to drop that, and we're going to go to First Maccabees. And 11. First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11.
Sorry, sir.
All right, big bro. All right. That's yours right there. Hey, we don't have a 3-prong one, do we? I need a 3-prong plug. I need to plug my phone in. I thought we had a 3-prong plug.
A 3-prong? Oh
man, this is a charger I found at my house. Man, this my crazy. Yeah, but it worked on my phone. It charged my phone fast. You got, yeah, man, thing be charging my phone fast as a mug. But we're gonna go to First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11.
Oh,
and this scripture right here basically con, sir. Appreciate it. Con Abu Khan.
All right. First, let me go and read it, sir.
Con.
First Maccabees chapter 1 and 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
And we say that we speak this scripture all the time. This is a classic terrible preachers scripture, you know, pastors and all the wicked pastors and preachers. You understand? This is a scripture that we use all the time to describe our pastors and preachers. And we have to also understand that this is not the first time this has happened to us. This is Shalom. Khan, a young bar. We also have to understand that, you understand, this scripture right here describes things that were already happening back in biblical times. This was Maccabees before Christ. These things were going on way before Christ. These things were going on when Christ hit the scene. These things are going on right now after Christ. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. These things have always been going on. And this is the reason why the Most High put these things in this book to remind us. You understand? So that we would not keep reliving the same things over and over again. But because we are destroyed people and because we don't take heed to what the Most High has been telling us, we continually go through the same thing over and over and over again. And it says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Speaking of the wicked leaders of that time. Go ahead.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
Read that one again. Read that part again. The who persuaded.
God. Who persuaded many.
All right, it says who persuaded many, meaning they persuaded many people from Israel, our own people. Just like preachers and pastors persuade us today to march, to vote, to go hand in hand with our oppressor,
Right.
to march with the other heathen nations. You understand? To fight in wars that don't have anything to do with us.
Right.
You understand? To get into their armies, to get into their Navy, Marines, and all of that stuff. You understand? And as we get into these things, think about the destruction that happens to us when we go in the fight behind or alongside our oppressor. We get destroyed.
Right.
You understand? Our oppressor has no love for us. You understand? But we continually do all the things that the Most High tells us not to do.
Right.
And in scripture says, who persuaded many, persuading many of Israel, read on,
saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Say that again.
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
And we do that every time we step out and we go out and vote. We step out and we make a covenant with the heathen. You understand?
Yeah.
Every time you stand, you go hand in hand, you march alongside of them, you're making a covenant with the heathen. Every time we step into Christianity, we're making a covenant with the heathen. You understand? Every time we step into Islam, we're making a covenant with the heathen. These are things that we're used to doing.
Right.
You understand? We're used to making covenants with other nations. So why is it so hard to renew the covenant that we have with the Most High? Why is it so hard? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We can make covenants with everybody and everything else. We can do stuff that's, I mean, I don't understand how people can fall into what's that? What I said that was earlier. What's that religion?
Hinduism?
No,
Buddhism?
No. What's the other one that I said with Dr. York? What that is? Nuwapian. How can we fall into some bull crap like that? You ever heard what they be talking about? I don't want to get too far over, but how can they say it was a race of aliens come down here that created us and all that old type stuff? Sometimes I'm not understanding, like, okay, all right, if they came down here and created us, right? Where they at today?
Right.
Think about this, right? If I'm more superior than you are, right? Why I'm gonna create you and then go hide somewhere?
Right.
That's like you creating a child and running to hide. No shit, I created the child. Let me hide. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
When you know you outclass that child, you understand? It's a child. Why do you hide from it? See, then a lot of this stuff don't make sense. And they say what? It created us 300 trillion years ago. What the hell is 300 trillion years ago? How do you count 300 trillion years?
Right.
You understand? I mean, think about it. Go ahead.
Sorry, sir. I'm gonna interrupt. But where's the proof? You know what I'm saying? Documentation beat conversation.
Hey, don't they always ask about where the bones at?
Right.
Show me some bones.
Where the bones?
Show me some pictures. Hey, listen, if they came in on spaceships, I know they got pictures.
Right.
I know they had cameras. They ain't leave no cameras or nothing behind. They ain't leave an oil can or nothing. None.
Right.
Come on, man. Stop playing.
Right.
We can believe Nuwapianism. We can believe Islam. We can believe Buddhism. We can even believe Christianity.
Right.
But we can't believe the true living God of the Bible. You understand? That's destroyed right there.
Right.
That's destroyed. You understand? Laws, statutes, and commandments. Don't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. Don't eat something that eats every dead thing on the bottom of the ocean. How hard is that?
Right.
You'll get sick. Ain't nothing mystical or magical behind that. Don't smoke. Get lung cancer.
Right.
Ain't nothing mystical or magical about that. No other book gives us that. No other book tells us that. It's the only thing we haven't tried.
Right.
You understand? Think about it, you know? Go ahead.
Shalai. Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
And listen, these are the nations that were round about us. You understand what I'm saying? Remember, the Most High left those nations round about us to see if we would follow him or follow the other nations.
Right.
Look at us. This is what we do. When people are round about us, we tend to follow the people that are round about us.
Right.
We tend to leave the customs and culture of our own people to follow the customs and cultures of other nations. That's why it was so easy for us to follow Christianity, Buddhism, Egyptology, and all this other crap. You understand?
Right.
Because we tend to follow the other nations that are round about us. Go ahead.
For since we have departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
And we feel like we leave these other nations or we depart from these other nations, man, we're going to be sorrowful. We're going to be hurt. You understand? We ain't going to be able to survive. Man, we need white people. We need the Asians. We need the Arabs. You understand? We need the Muslims. You understand? We feel like if we leave these people or we fall away from these people that we ain't gonna be able to survive. You ever seen a woman and her husband leave? She's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do without you. That you gonna survive.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's so stupid. You ever seen a dude do that? I can't live without her. You stupid. You jerk. You sissy. Don't cry behind no female, man.
Right.
You get up and go get another one. Matter of fact, go get two of them to make up for us.
That's right.
Shit. I mean, that's the problem. That's the problem with us. You know what I mean? We like to follow other nations. We feel like we can't live without other people.
Right.
You understand? Again, it goes back to the beginning, thanks to Martin Luther King and integration.
That's
and
right.
Martin Luther King is the face of Black History Month. Martin Luther King is the face of integration. And this is the reason why we go so hard on him. You understand? Hopefully, when he comes back in the earth, hopefully he'll have a change of heart. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Hopefully he'll have a change of heart. Or the next time he might never know, he might catch 2 bullets in the head, you know?
Okay.
I never know, you know what I mean? But hopefully, I pray, you know, he find that truth. You understand?
That's right.
And we're gonna drop that, right? And we're gonna go to Ecclesiasticus 34. Make sure that's right. 34. Okay. 34, and we're gonna start at 1.
Okay.
Yep.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 34, verse 1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false.
Say that again.
The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false.
Listen, Martin Luther King was void of understanding. So if he was void of understanding, what does that mean?
His understandings are vain and his hopes are vain and false.
His hopes are vain and false. Think about the hopes he had to see us walking hand in hand. We still not walking hand in hand.
Right.
Because Black people still fighting for that to this day.
Right.
And think about it, how destroyed we are. Still fighting for the same thing that we know is not going to work.
Right.
You understand? Police departments keep being funded more and more and more to destroy more and more Black people.
Right.
To destroy more and more Hispanics, to destroy more and more, Indians or natives.
Right.
You understand? Think about it. His visions and his hopes were vain and false.
Right.
He had false hopes. He had lust in his heart. You understand? And that was the only thing Martin Luther King stood on. He stood on the lust in his heart.
Right.
And what did that lust in his heart get him?
250,000.
250,000 and a statue.
Two statues.
2 statues. You understand? And the lost lives of his people.
That's right, sir.
You understand? I mean, think about it, right? He sold out for 30 pieces of silver. Because at the end of the day, his people are destroyed. People are what the scriptures say. The people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because we want to follow false leaders and false, you know what I'm saying, prophets. We get false knowledge.
That's right.
You understand? Go ahead, read on.
Take it on top. Ecclesiastes 34:1. The hopes of a man void of understanding are vain and false, and dreams lift up fools.
And dreams lift up fools, man. A dream is just that, a dream. You feel me? A dream is just that, a dream. Dreams lift up fools. You understand? Read on.
Verse 2. Whoso regardeth dreams is like him that catcheth at a shadow.
Think about it, right? Have you ever tried to catch a shadow?
Shit, cold. I was like,
when he's little, right?
Right.
Oh, now, you just said something powerful right there, right?
Yeah.
You chased after shadows when you were a child.
Right.
But after you got older, you understood that I can't catch a shadow. So what's the use of me chasing after a shadow?
That's right.
You understand? But Martin Luther King and all these other preachers and pastors have us chasing after shadows. And they chasing after shadows themselves.
Right.
You understand? They leading us into destruction. You understand?
Okay.
Look at our neighborhoods. Look at how our people are living right now. You understand? I asked somebody, let somebody tell me where the Chinese ghetto is.
Right.
Believe it, right? Listen to this. It is a such thing as a Chinese ghetto, but where is it at?
Ain't in here. It's like.
Right, it's in China.
That's right.
Everybody has their poor class. But we are the only people who are a poor class under every other nation.
Right.
Arabs have a poor class too. But their poor class is over in the Middle East where they are. Right? Think about it. Africans have a poor class too. But you don't see no poor African class here.
Right.
You got to go back to Africa to see that poor class. Ethiopia to see that poor class. Kenya to see that poor class. We're the only poor class of people who live under every other nation as the poor class. Not as a poor class, but as the poor class.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's just how destroyed we are. And we don't see it. Go ahead, read on.
Whosoever regardeth dreams is like him that catches, like Ecclesiastes 34:2. Whosoever regardeth dreams is like him that catches at a shadow.
Go ahead.
And followeth after the wind.
Following after the. Think about this, right? How do you follow the wind? You can't follow the wind.
Right.
You can only go where you think it's going.
Right.
You understand? But you can't follow the wind. And that's what we do, following preachers and pastors. It's like following the wind, following the dream, trying to catch a shadow.
Right.
It's the worst thing in the world. We destroyed as a people. And the thing about it is we can't see it because the propaganda and everything else has clouded our minds.
Right.
Just destroyed. Once again, thanks to Martin Luther King. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Read on.
Verse 3. The vision of dreams is a resemblance of one thing to another.
Right.
Even as the likeness of a face to a face.
Even like the likeness of a face to a face, looking in a mirror.
Right.
You understand? One thing is real, but that other thing is not real.
Right.
We looking at that thing that is not real.
Right.
We chasing after that thing that is not real.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed? And from that thing which is false, what truth can overcome?
Think about it, right? Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed? Think about it, right? How can you clean an unclean thing?
If I could, sir. That is heavy because Christians say that we can eat pork.
Right.
The scriptures tell you that swine is unclean.
And,
period.
And what they say?
But we under grace.
But hold up. They say all you gotta do is pray over.
All you gotta do is pray over.
So listen, like, tell me where that's at in the Bible.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And see, this is the propaganda, and this is the blindness. This is the smoke and mirrors. This is the chasing the shadow,
Right.
trying to catch the shadow. You understand? We listen to preachers and pastors who what it say? A vain thing, right?
Come.
A vain, a void of understanding and false, right? Vain and false, right?
Right.
This is what happened to us following Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
This is why we are destroyed people.
That's right.
This is why we in the condition that we in. But until we come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, this is the condition we'll be sitting in. Read on.
Oh, God. Verse 4. Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed?
Of an unclean thing, what can be clean? How can you clean an unclean thing? Go ahead.
And from that thing which is false, what truth can come?
Think about it, right? What truth can you pull from a false statement?
Right.
Don't
Right.
make sense.
Right.
I have a dream. What truth can come from that?
Yeah.
Can't any truth. Truth cannot come from that. You understand?
Right.
With that, we the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. That truth is that the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives are the descendants of the greatest people that ever walked the face of this earth, and the Bible identifies us as the 12 tribes of Israel. We are the true Jews of the Bible, and our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
With that, we'll pass the class over to a priest officer Nadawan. Right.
Yeah. Let's give it up for that officer, man. Powerful class. You understand? All right, we the ISUPK. So like these security announcements. We the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister is interested in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3, chapter 3, 8 through 10. Means 10th in Hebrew, and it's pronounced Ma'asharah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations. What we got, sir? Karim? No, I just want to put that. We got the Feast of Purim, the 14th day. Purim, 14th day, and the 15th day, the 20th month, which is Sunday, the 5th of March, and Monday, the 6th of March, 2023. You can find it in Esther 9, 20, and 31. Then after that, we got the Passover, April 1st. You understand? And then Raleigh, North Carolina. Make sure you pay your $200 to get up in the Passover. And what else we got? Reminding Akim and Akwathium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start to wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarves. With that, we'll get one courtesy salute to the teacher. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Salaki. Men of Israel, Mightium. Mightium. Barak. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Barak Athah. That's the top. Class dismissed. Hey,
I'm checking out a couple of your classes too, right?
God.
Where I'm at. Here we go. In broadcast.
Oh, that's where it's at. I ain't see it on there.